You know your crew is strong when the doctor of the crew is strong too. He can carry Usopp, constantly strong enough to throw human-sized beings, implying humans are light compared to his strength. You know this is nowhere near his limit because he's able to carry these beings while running and use his strength or muscle to toss said crewmates several stories. In different modes, he's throwing beings like footballs. Let's just say he could grab the whole crew with one arm if he has to with his muscle. That's why he can drag everybody, proving he can lift several tons by lifting a bath out of the concrete and tossing it. You see this mast on the ship? When it caught fire, we see Chopper rip it and toss it away with his muscle. I mean, he can body slam beings or crocodiles that are similar size to him. We see him here lift up beings way bigger than himself, even in his monster form. Due to the form he's in, he's very large. He can actually lift up things that are bigger than himself, so he's stronger what his size would suggest. Obviously, he can lift up big chunks of ice that are bigger than himself. It's hard to find an official size for Monster Point Chopper when he's like this. Let's look at his size like this compared to other characters that have official heights. You could argue he's like double a guy's height that's 20 feet tall. You could argue in this state he's 40 feet tall. And I'm literally not exaggerating. If he's really 40 feet tall, at least, and this ice is easily double his height and some change. I'm lowballing it for the sake of it. It literally looks like it's more than double his size. Via calculations, my personal AI calculations that I use to estimate the weight of ice, I estimated that this chopper can lift 3,000 plus tons. If we really assume he's really about 40 feet tall and he lifted a chunk of ice that's double his height, I would assume that this chopper can lift 7 million pounds based on him being strong enough to lift up stuff this heavy. That's brute strength. Along with others, he's able to pull or help pull the Sunny ship, the Thousand Sunny, and you can see the size of himself compared to the ship itself. You could say he's pulling thousands of tons, showcasing that this 1,000-ton strength is very consistent. Like, imagine being struck by beings that have this kind of power, muscle to lift thousands of tons. You know the weight of his hits are heavy. It's clear when he hits beings, he can launch them in the air. And these fish go night-night from his strike. He can clothesline you, stampede bulldozer over you, can strike and bust wooden mallets. He himself states his strikes, because of his iron hooves, they can destroy boulders, which is believable. You could say this is a gag moment, but we see him punch two of his crewmates in the ground and engrave the ground. The weight of his strikes can make imprints in your body and face. We've seen him break metal railings. He can Kung Fu strike open a metal door. Kung Fu's unites and y'all get murked. Can hit zombies' heads off, busting sections of walls in monster mode, can dig through the ground to get opponents through the ground and launch them, cracking the ground. We've seen him match strikes with beings like super strong fisherman type characters we've seen his fish clash with. Beings that can bust metal, and you could say bust buildings or knock buildings away or something. Which adds up with his earlier lifting feats. Of course his hits are this heavy. It's not even a fair fight. When he goes into his monster point form against the same being, he'll straight up shatter his weapon at this point. Sure, this was a team effort, but a being that's like taller than certain buildings or houses, we see Chopper work together with Frankie to stun this being known as Oars. So he's always had punches this heavy. The weight of his strikes via teamwork here shows how hard he can hit, imprinting this building-sized being. There's literal cracks in the universe that can break ships with their vice grip. Chopper, with his tankish form, he blocked it. One of his techniques, blowing himself up to increase his durability to block such strikes from huge beings. A good way to understand how hard Chopper can hit is to look at the different organizations in the government. One of them introducing power levels in One Piece for a little while. It was this organization known as the CP9. Different characters had different power levels, so we can judge what the gaps between them are. And these are the official power levels. This is crucial to Chopper because Chopper battled one of these beings. Not to mention, they all literally have the same techniques when it comes to enhancing their durability for the most part. Just when the character has a higher power level, they can do those same techniques, but better. On top of certain characters having devil fruits. I want you guys to put in perspective right quick. This character's power level is barely higher than this character's power level. Same with this character's power level, right? This is crucial because this guy, we've seen him straight up get kicked in the face by the main character known as Luffy. He's using this technique to make his body hard called Tekai. He can mimic an iron shell. It gives him crazy durability. He was able to eat Luffy's hit. Just keep in mind that the main character known as Luffy can hit hard enough to blow buildings back or away. Yeah, this is the same Luffy that can punch hard enough, punch beings through underground to the top of the ground, leveling the city block or multiple buildings in the process, shaking the whole block, causing all this destruction, y'all. So now you see why just eating a hit from this guy's crazy. This same CP9 being using Tekai can withstand hits from Frankie, another strong member of the Straw Hats. Another strong member of the Straw Hats known as Sanji, who can kick giant crocodiles in the air This is the same being. Well, this same character had to charge up a key to actually affect them at this point. As you can see, I want you guys to really picture this. All these hits he has to withstand from the main character with Tekai, Iron Body. This is important because Chopper had to battle a being with dang near an equal power level to this guy. Sure, Chopper had to experiment with different forms at this point in time to see if he can really damage him, because this heavy point transformation didn't necessarily work when he used Iron Body. When he switched his form to like a form that specializes in striking force, his arm point, he was actually able to do some damage to this being while using Iron Body or Tekai, implying that Chopper, I'm not saying he's as strong as Luffy, but just similar to how Luffy can level multiple city blocks with the weight of his strikes, Chopper should be able to do that based on him fighting beings with similar power levels to beings that can just tank Luffy's hits via Iron Body and Tekai. He's fighting this government agent that's ridiculously strong. He made this guy bleed, does damage to him, doesn't KO him though, but does damage to him. And this is not Chopper's mightiest form. So without even being in his mightiest form, the weight of his strikes would be able to blow away multiple blocks of buildings based on him being able to damage this being with arm point. Now, during this point in time, this form was a mindless form he couldn't control. But yeah, when we actually talk about this form, this is where he pulls away in power. Honestly, like this, I would say he's probably even stronger than Bluno, beings that can kind of tussle with the main character for a little while before Luffy got gear second. It doesn't matter if this guy uses Tekai anymore. He's just getting completely stomped because of monster point striking power Chopper, completely curb stomping a CP9 agent. So if this form can strike this hard, like I mentioned earlier, this form can do all that but better. I mean, I got a question for you. Do you remember this character known as Pale? He's an earlier Saga type character in the Alabasta arc, by the way, in One Piece. You know, he had the power to transform into a bird-like being. And I got a question. Who do you think's more durable, this guy or Bluno super agent type characters that can withstand hits from the main character Luffy? Who do you think is more durable, that guy or Bluno? Obviously, Bluno's more durable, right? You're probably thinking, why is this relevant? Well, I'm trying to give you a reference on if weaker tier characters in weaker arcs can withstand certain things via durability, how durable do you think these later arc characters are that are way stronger are? For example, Pale. There was a literal bomb that was like a nuke, basically, that was going to destroy the whole city. Yes, that kind of strong bomb. So this character, Pale, literally carries the bomb that was going to blow up the entirety of Alabasta, blow up the whole city, and he literally had to withstand an explosion this big when he flew it up. This was not an exaggeration of the size of an explosion like this. This low Saga tier type character survived this, y'all. Chopper is literally curb stomping beings way above him in durability, beings that can harden their body, like beings in this literal power level range, y'all. Yes, this implies even back in the day, Chopper in not even his highest states can damage these kind of beings that are way more durable than nuclear type bombs. Even Chopper can strike with force similar to nuclear bombs. Low tier characters, strong characters, but lower tier characters are able to withstand this kind of stuff. What the heck do you think Chopper can do in this monster form when he curb stomp higher end CP9 agent? Like, yeah, I'm not trying to disrespect him, but yeah, he's a lower tier type character and he's still this durable. Yes, Chopper in this form is a demon. And all of this is not even technically counting the time skip crap where this is before the time skip. He's this strong. You know, he's got even stronger after the time skip. The way the One Piece world works, bounties is a big way to understand how dangerous somebody's combat abilities is against the government, how hard they can punch, how strong they are in general, stuff like that. Nobody's immune to bounties in this universe. Marines, characters that give out the bounties, can even have bounties from the pirates' point of view, and they can give out bounties to pirates, etc. You can look at some of the characters that have bounties pretty high, like characters that have a bounty of 500 million, for example. Beings this low in bounty levels, thanks to their physical training, martial arts, being able to enhance their punches with inner energy like hockey and stuff, they can punch apart mountain-sized island-type beings into smithereens, beings that are not even in a billion bounty. You're probably wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Well, in later arcs, we see Chopper have to compete with beings or box it out with beings that have bounties of 1 billion. Some of the strongest beings in the Kaido pirate group, basically, you know, the Yonko. I want you guys to remember that beings that are weaker than this guy, still pretty high, 1 billion bounty level beings like Jack, for example, have survived being hit by literal elephants that are bigger than islands, 20 billion ton elephants hitting them. Like, imagine an elephant that's super large that can support its own weight, throwing its trunk at you, a 20 billion ton being hitting you. This is the kind of durability we're talking about, guys. Okay, so he did hit him with his trunk. So we know the trunk is not as heavy as his whole body. Let's lowball it right quick, right? Let's just assume he hit you with 1 billion tons of force. If we assume this giant elephant can hit with its weight or something, that would be like getting hit by 20 nukes at the same time, y'all. Here's a perspective on this elephant, just in case you thought I was exaggerating. Jack, this guy right here, one of the Kaido pirates, got hit by this being. It hurt him really bad, but he survived. This is crucial because we literally see Chopper fight somebody that's got a higher bounty than this guy. Look at the weight of Chopper's hits, drawing blood from this being that's this high end, in his highest mode, of course. Let's just say Chopper's bounty does not match how strong he is physically. The government is sleeping on him. And if his durability is anything like Jack is somebody that can stand being hit by billions of tons, 1 billion tons, me lowballing it. This would imply that Chopper can hit with the kind of pressure that's way stronger than even 20 nukes combined. Just from simply making him bleed, y'all. This is mad impressive for Chopper to be doing this, considering he does not use hockey. But it should be noted, there's implications Chopper's not necessarily on this guy's level, because it doesn't seem to be doing too much damage, even though he did draw blood from him. You would think, based on how strong Queen is, Chopper would have been done for by now. Yeah, it's revealed that Queen was playing around with him, but at the same time, Chopper was still made him bleed. I still think that's a feat. Yo, he can stay in this form for a long time, 20 minutes and stuff. He fought this guy Queen for 20 minutes, yo. That's got to be impressive, even if he's not as strong as him. And I guess you could say he has bodily weaponry because he technically has claws, so you could say he could add piercing damage on top of these type of level strikes. There's implications that the Straw Hats, Chopper included, are way even scarier than what I've already said, because even before the big time skip where he got a lot stronger, him and the team were working together to affect this being known as Ors, a being that's dubbed as the continent puller. One Piece has a ridiculously large continent, by the way, so yeah. He was able to do damage to continent pullers before the big time skip. Imagine what he is currently. You see what I mean? This is the kind of stuff you got to put in consideration. Just like the rest of the cast, he has superhuman reflexes, dodging arrows, transforms fast enough to dodge bullets, CP9 agents that can move so fast via this technique known as Saru. They appear like they're vanishes. They can move faster than the eye can see. They can use this in combat. These are the kind of beings Chopper has to react and dodge attacks from like this, and even counterattack and hit them before they even can dodge. Like, even in his big, bulky, hulkish form, there's beings literally bouncing all around him with their super speed. This doesn't matter. He's still fast enough, even in his crazy mode, to hit this being. These are the same kind of beings that can react to Luffy and his fighting speed quite a bit before he goes into gear second and stuff. Whether we're talking about time skip, main characters like Luffy can react to light beams. And even before the time skip, Luffy can react to photons, like the Noro beam, that things reflects off of mirrors, implying light, type of elemental type stuff. This can give you an idea of how fast just the normal characters are, really, Chopper included. Chopper, by default, has to be at least light speed or close to when it comes to reflexes. Right, probably a little bit faster since he's improved, you know. If you made it this far in the video, you're probably wondering, what the heck are all these different modes and stuff? Like, yeah, he's an actual reindeer that actually ate a super-powered devil fruit of this universe, and that's why he got all these different modes. Chopper can talk to other animals because he was originally an animal anyway. He still retains his intelligence to talk to humans, though, in his original state, thanks to this devil fruit. But on top of all this, he has a hybrid form, which you see him in most of the time, to where he's small, cute, and kind of humanish looking, but still reindeerish looking, if that makes sense. Probably due to his intelligence with medicine and stuff. Being a reindeer man, he got these pills that helps him change modes that he developed himself. Because when people are analyzing him, they're saying he's supposed to have only 3 modes, but he developed a new mode, and they said it should be impossible. Zone types are limited to 3 transformations. How can this be? It's because of the Rumble Ball he developed as a medicine that can modify the transformation powers of the Devil Fruit. After 5 years of research, he discovered 4 more transformations, 7 stages of transformation. The big caveat, or thing that used to be the caveat, is that it only lasts for 3 minutes when he's doing these different modes. Since Chopper is a part of the Straw Hat Pirates, every member has improved as time went by. Like, there was an actual time skip. Before the time skip, he needed all these medicine balls to transform. But after the time skip, he's gotten stronger, better. Everything about him has improved to the point where he renewed his transformations to where he no longer needs these medicine balls for his 7 transformations. There's only one form where he needs a pill now. So all them limitations I just mentioned, it kind of go out the window now. He kind of just don't really need that other than one of his modes, because he can change into the other 6 anytime he wants at will now with no time limit. Shown and reaffirmed here about Chopper being able to transform to any one of them except for one. Like, Chopper had his own mindless Hulk form for a little bit, to where he would basically become a mindless savage, unstoppable, way stronger than he usually would be before. It's just that he was brainless at first, but now, thanks to training and hard work, he can use this super powered up, beefed up form with his actual mind still intact. But the only caveat is that even this form still has a time limit though, but the other forms doesn't. Oh, it's only Chopper because of his mentality, by the way. Like, if, you know, One Piece has like soul switching and body switching. If another character is using Chopper body or power and uses Monster Point, they will go out of control. So only Chopper can do this because of training and stuff. But this is like his ultimate form. Speaking of forms, let's get into how each form differ from each other and what they specialize in right quick. The fact that he has certain forms that help him get out of the grips of things so he can get smaller is useful in combat. Like, he will legit get captured on purpose in his big modes just for him to switch to his small modes and nobody will suspect it. Forms like Heavy Point, that's pretty straightforward, where he can literally just box you like a human with his fists and stuff. This is debatably one of his best striking forms. Arm Point, specializing for strikes. Jumping Point, you could say after the year time skip, but Jumping Point and Arm Point are like not useful as much because he'll just use Kung Fu Point. It looks like an actual Kung Fu panda. Horn Point or Horn Boost helps him dig a lot better. He has a mode specifically made for tanking attacks where he blows up like a balloon, going guard point style. He's the doctor of the Straw Hat Pirate. He's the one you go to when somebody's injured. He's the one that treats giant beings. He knows about medicines that are bad. He's the one that helps Nami when she was sick. People that have been physicians for 40 years are impressed with his knowledge. His natural physiology gives him perks, like the fact he's an animal, he can smell real good. That's why he can follow scent. The only bad thing is that since he's a devil fruit eater, he has the standard weaknesses of being in seawater. He would just completely fall, can't swim. And since he's got fur, he's good for cold temperatures. Not hot ones, though. But at the same time, all of this could be just me. He isn't a Yonko tier or nothing like that. He's still ridiculously strong and a good member of the Straw Hat. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for the donations. Yeah, this doctor is stronger than what he appears. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.